Hey, how we all doing? How we all feeling today? Now I know I haven't been on this channel for like a long time and I'm sorry, alright? College happened and it's just really hard to get videos out. I apologize for that. But I'm here and I'm ready for another reaction video. Today we're gonna be reacting to SINBAD, The Refs Cannot Stop Him by Narratives. This guy is a goat in my opinion. Only 28k subscribers. He definitely deserves way more than that, and I really do enjoy his content, so I'm gonna be reacting to one of his videos. I'm sorry. And let's get right into it.
Now, picture this and try your hardest to imagine this without using me as the example. You ever just have a feeling when you wake up that's like, this is gonna be a wonderful day. Now keep that thought, but this time there was real life a guy out there who had people shaking, looking up into the sky, talking about the world has become a better place. The zeptosecond he was born. I'm talking the exact point when his head poked out, yes. Now, if you are still yet to think of an example, and of course, yeah, you cannot use me in this example, then let me clue you in with SINBAD. On my quest to cover the best of 2010s, I stumbled across the comments talking about Maggie, and I was thinking, I'll do you one better. I went straight for the SINBAD side story. You see, as a kid, I always wanted to live like SINBAD. Rich, drippy. His name is SINBAD.
SINBAD do got a good life, bro. That nigga said I'm gonna make it and he made it. Actually a good. Alright, I would say he got lucky in a lot of ways, but that guy is still a good, in my opinion.
Just low-key cold as hell. And these niggas even call him first class singularity. Are we serious? I'd much prefer if you all find out why I like him so much. So cut the small talk. Let's go. So the very first thing we see in the show is childbirth. And just peep how the niggas are reacting. Like, shooting stars? Are we dead ass? He hasn't even had his first cry yet. And check how his hand is claiming the sun. This has got to be some sort of symbolism. Where are the anime TikTok elitists when you need them? This is SINBAD's dad, who's some sort of, war hero. But nowadays, he's on his Thor shit. The I have no enemies, saying he doesn't believe in war. Now, he just bides his time fishing in the sea. And SINBAD had snuck on his boat. A storm ends up catching the both of them, and this literal embryo is instructing his grown-ass man father on which direction to go to escape the storm.
Oh yeah, I forgot. SINBAD was literally born for greatness. He literally was born for greatness. He had insight in his head, like he knew what to do whenever. That is so unfair. That's so unfair. I find myself many times not knowing what to do. It feels like this nigga SINBAD just always knows what to do in any situation. That's not fair.
And this nigga has no objections. This is how I know I'm not ready to be a dad. My kid could be Einstein, but there's no way I'm letting him one-up me. That's black man pride. After the little mission, SINBAD's dad is getting boomed on by the civilians because he's not participating in the war. And these guys are talking about how he's a failure of a hero. Someone correct me if I'm wrong, but doesn't this nigga literally have one leg? Like, do they think he's Thanos? Anyway, SINBAD's pops just takes it because, it's like, some more Thor's BS. They find this traveling merchant and decide,
oh, that's a pretty bad look. Beating down not only a war hero, but a disabled man too. That's crazy.
To take him in, and SINBAD is curious because he has yellow hair, and SINBAD's never seen people of different lands before. Later, SINBAD's chopping it up with bro while hearing his stories at bedtime. Turns out bro is an enemy soldier and he packs up these two soldiers who are looking for him. Then he takes SINBAD hostage. SINBAD's mom is asking anybody to help, but all the NPC's chains are fake and they're just standing there like bread. SINBAD's pops pulls up and now it looks like he's about to save the day, but he just gets on his knees and begs over to release SINBAD.
Hey, bitch ass nigga, get up off them knees.
I bet. Anyway, SINBAD's dad murks soldier guy and the stupid residents of the town say that he needs to be punished for housing a spy. So they're going to force him to fight in the war. Anyway, SINBAD is trying to stand 10 toes, but the villagers are just like, beat him up, he's just a kid. But Papa SINBAD is not standing for that shit and takes his clothes off, flexing his VVS diamond chain. In other words, his battle scars. Showing the people of this village that this war shit is not all sweet. Some months pass and then they were told that Badr, who was SINBAD's dad, I just decided to name him like now for some reason. Anyway, he had died and they had returned the sword. Then we skipped 9 years and SINBAD is leading the people out of another storm. Just peep how he's harnessing.
This guy just loves leading people out of storms.
To increase his own personal steez. This is next level shit. The very next scene, SINBAD is posted on top of a building, jumps down and fries this group of bandits that were harassing the civilians. And now he's sweet talking the hoods right after. And this is the type shit he be doing like the whole series. He meets this guy hiding in a barrel named Yunon and takes him to his village so he has a place to stay. So this whole time the military has been trying to draft SINBAD, but they sort of slimed his dad, so he just didn't rock with them. Because of this, he gets pulled up on by one of the military commanders and they're out here trying to force him. Since SINBAD is a hood hero, one of the jits
I love that
guys
kid.
got no remorse.
Didn't know you were chill like that.
And just kill him smooth in the chest. And we talk about MCG time and time again over here, and we see Sinbad's in real effect because he decides to take on the dungeon to escape being drafted, despite the fact that 10,000 people have already died there. The day comes and Sinbad pulls up before declaring he's going to capture the dungeon and change the world. And spoiler alert, this ain't no empty talk, he really did that shit. He takes his father's sword and gets ready to clear it. So they get in the dungeon and the very first thing we hear is wails of death and despair. Them boys real life sounded like Call of Duty zombies. And niggas are free falling into ravines getting dragged by dragons and shit. Nigga, is this Hueco Mundo? The army general.
Because of how many people were dying during this event, it just made me, like, it just reaffirmed the idea that Sinbad was chosen. Because niggas were getting murked left and right. And honestly, it genuinely, like, obviously you could tell Sinbad was the chosen one. But it didn't feel like he had, plot armor. Or maybe he did. He was getting really lucky. Like, he was getting really, really lucky. But also, it's like the stars were aligning way too well. I don't know how to explain it, okay? It felt like it was less plot armor and more he's just chosen by the gods, which is nice of him. It was pretty nice to watch.
He's getting rocked and Sinbad saves him. And he introduces himself all condescending, talking about some, "Let me do it in a way even a commoner understands." Anyway, his actual name is too long for me to type out, learn, or read, so I'm just going to use his nickname that Sinbad gave him, Drakon. They see the Dragon King and decide that they need to work together to defeat it. Anyway, Drakon is unnecessarily opposed to the idea, so he goes off by himself and ends up almost getting rocked. He was shaking in his boots. His reaction made him hate himself, so he asked Sinbad to slime him then and there. But MCG, so Sinbad speaks his plus.
He goes like, "Please kill me. I have to die. I'm not worthy of being a human being."
10 charisma. Now, Sinbad is on the offensive. He's using the shield to ride underwater from a geyser as a means to attack the dungeon. Funnily enough, I'm not going to act shocked. I've seen stranger shit through the years. He backflips off it and stabs the dragon in its head, turning it into pixie dust. Then he gets the key that allows them to go to the next stage of the dungeon. They manage to go through the rest of the dungeon and reach a room that houses a djinn. Sinbad touches it and the genie comes to life. The genie gets straight to questioning too. "Alright, so which one of you foot niggas called on me?" "Me?" "No, it's me. I got the royal DNA." "You cannot be serious, gang. Nigga, I saved you." "Slow feet don't eat. Hey, we can run this shit right now." These two start boxing and Drakon is beating Sinbad in the sword fight, but Sinbad reminds him that this is not a sword fight and it is in fact a dog fight.
No one can hold a sword like that. What the fuck? That shit should hurt a lot. It should keep slicing it's literally on the wound, so it should just keep slicing through. You can't hold a sword like that, alright? It's damn anime logic shit.
Drakon gets a little flashback, typical anime stuff. And here I'm thinking he's gonna come back with a bang because he's talking about some, it's not over yet. But nah, he is holding straight haymakers. Look at this. Mink, mink, bang. Look at that uppercut, dog. He is in hell. Who even taught Sinbad to throw like this? They do one last exchange, but yeah, MCG. Sinbad now has the power of this genie, and when he wakes up, he's standing on all of the treasure. Now these soldiers have the gall to open their damn mouths and say, "Hand over the treasure and power, well done." This looked like charity, and Sinbad stands on all 10. Yunnan just spawns in and teaches Sinbad how to use his powers, and yeah, he just starts raining Chidoris on them niggas. Yunnan flies him away back to his hometown, and he finds his mother is sick. When he goes into her room, she thinks he's his father, and tells him how wonderful their son has become before she bites the dust. Princess pulls up on Sinbad's hometown, and she starts attacking him. Her chest plate falls off because main character genes, and he picks her up before stuffing her in a barrel. It's time for our boy to explore the world. And hey, who is he feeling like? Someone telling him he's not.
That was the most useless scene I've ever seen. I can't lie.
So fast forwards and Sinbad is lost at sea. I guess he lost his touch from when he was a baby. There are also these two people fighting this kraken in the ocean. They deem it as too big of an issue to handle and want to retreat, but Sinbad has some of the best pull-ups in anime and literally smites it. They pull up on the shore and Sinbad tries to riz, but for the first time in his life it ain't ever worked. And you can tell he's not used to that either. Check how confused he is. They lead him back to their hometown, and at first they're not really jacking Sinbad, but he shows his chain as a dungeon clearer, so they let him stay and he's cool. Sinbad is actually spitting game in his sleep, and someone in real life tries to assassinate him, but he accidentally kicks him while asleep. The kid ties Sinbad up, but Obody literally got a lightning demon in his sword, so we can predict what happens next. They're getting deep fried. Sinbad is questioning him, and the little kid is flexing, killing his parents, and Sinbad slaps the spit out of his mouth. Then his boys pull up and help him escape.
Let me go back. The change that this kid went through. This is the biggest character development I've ever seen in anime. This kid is a great person. He grew up so well.
Killing his parents, and Sinbad slaps the spit out of his mouth. Then his boys pull up and help him escape. Kia leaves before his ceremony and heads to the dungeon alone to prove himself. So Sinbad has to put on the big boy boots and decides he's got to go help him, and peep his face when he declares that nobody's going to die. Woo! He might be clean. He might be clean. In the dungeon, Hina thinks all the butterflies are playing with him, but nah, they realize just munching his skin, so he jumps into the water to evade it. Hina ends up meeting Drakon and the assassin group from yesterday who are also exploring the dungeon. Then they just little bro Hina.
Bro, why the fuck is Drakon here, bro? This nigga can't hop off Sinbad's meat, bro.
But he's not having that type of disrespect and attacks them. I'll just skip the pleasantries. He gets tied up and Sinbad saves him. The kid does the same tying up gimmick on Sinbad, but Sinbad is merely rocking the shit out of him, I'm not going to lie. Hina's getting jumped, and when Sinbad tries to help, Drakon sneaks him. Then they both jump into the water to run away. The other group end up in the Jinn's room, and the genie is able to sniff out the sorcerer with them as someone from the other world, and that person escapes. Sinbad and Hina pull up, and this genie is holding a competition for them to become the king. The objective is to capture this singular cat. Anyway, they're all senselessly chasing, and Sinbad snakes the group by making them work together just to take the cat for himself. He's real shiesty for that shit, I ain't gonna lie, but game is game. He's giving some hopeful, jolly speech about changing the world, and these three begin to turn into demons because of the potion that one sorcerer gave them. I left that out. Probably, my bad. They fully transform and it's just out there blasting Sinbad. The genie says that if they can destroy its core, they can save their comrades. But it's out there doing bullshit like reattaching his arms, and then the sorcerer from back then just spins back. Turns out Drakon's brother is pulling the strings and is trying to murk his own brother because he's been getting too close with the girl he's about to marry.
What? Yo, that's so crazy. Murking your own bro for the horse. That's too far, brother. That's so crazy.
The demon is crushing Hina, but he has to show out and freeze himself before charging up an attack while Sinbad stalls the demon. Anyway, they all start working together and the demon gets smoked. Yay. But it is not over yet. The kid assassin is resurrecting the demon once more. Sinbad is trying to take the core out of his body and it transports him to inside the assassin's memory where they see nothing but a crying little boy. His current self is telling the old version of himself that his life is really grimy and he can't handle this world. This is just like Ken and Heisei on Folk. Sinbad approaches him and consoles him, but Sinbad literally got the power to inspire people and make them follow him. So yeah, he succeeds and is able to drop.
Yeah, this brother Sinbad, he is who you want to follow. He is literally a person to follow. Like, if you know yourself as a follower, Sinbad is the type of person you should be looking for to follow. Someone who inspires and just like, and shows out and is ready to do right all the time and be the best.
Draw some of Baal, his genie's powers. Oh yeah, the assassin's name is revealed to be Jafar. So the genie asks who will be the master one more time, and all these guys get straight to glazing and accept him as their leader. This shit ain't even fair, dog. They leave the dungeon and Hina's given his true name, Hina Hono, before.
I thought it was pretty selfish that Sinbad was getting all the powers from all the dungeons, because like he has people following him, so why does he keep taking the powers? But then I realized if there's someone who is gonna have all that power, it is Sinbad. And although it is a show of greed, he is doing it for the greater good of everyone else around him. Even though he's clearly living in luxuries way too much than he ever needs.
Becoming a full-fledged warrior. Then he gets to marry his fine Shiruru and they join Sinbad's crew. They arrive.
Man, I loved this guy and his wife, bro. They were just so awesome together.
One of the biggest empires is merchants trying to sell their goods, and Sinbad is pulling out all the stops to sell his goods. He ain't even have to do anything either. The ref has lost control of this match. Hold on. The ref is trying to make a last stand. Wait, it's working? The soldiers come out and tell everyone to go home and that they don't have permits to sell things on the street.
Oh,
yes!
shit.
The ref has finally took the reins. Then this one guy comes in and he's part of the union.
It's the kind of days Real Madrid never wished for.
And he's able to buy from them and takes their entire stock. The rest of the gang go back to Imchak, which is like Hina Hono's hometown, to get new stock, and Sinbad stays, in which he ends up having dinner with the guy who bought their stock. I've said stock a lot of times. He finds out that he sold the goods for a higher price, but Sinbad is trying to befriend him rather than condemn him. The man reveals that he will write Sinbad a letter of recommendation to join the union and tasks him with raising 1,000 gold coins in a month. Then he will complete it. He decides the most optimal way to gain money is not to work, nah. It's to hustle on the streets, and that is a real nigga right there. He's sharing his stories to the civilians, and they throwing coins at him. Then he sees Harun again, he gives him 1,000 gold coins as he really has faith in Sinbad. Turns out he's actually the king of another huge nation. In other news, Ruru is about to give birth. Sinbad gives another performance in order to raise more funds for his warehouse and shop, so he decides to become a theatre kid. And he got a hella motion after his first couple shows, so his next event gets moved to the Coliseum. He on that young boy timing now.
If you don't come to my tour, don't bump me no more.
The gang returns from the trip and Jafar gets to the Coliseum with Hina Hono's kid. but ends up losing him. He ventures into Colosseum and heard him in one of the cages with this big ass monster. Jafar rushes in there to save the child, but the size difference is too great. He gets a flashback and the Jinn of Baal's power suddenly resonates in him and he's able to take out the monster. So Sinbad is finally able to raise the funds and officially becomes able to trade in the Empire. And he came out with Johnny Dang jewels from head to toe. Finally he wrote a book and was able to sell it to the world. Now they're going to a new country, Sasan. And check Sinbad's new fit. Oh buddy is clean, no bullshit. He is clean. They pull up to the Sasan Empire and they basically say hell nah, there's no trade here because they think their goods are a direct gift of God. Sinbad asks what if we're just trying to be friends and he redirects him to the Knights of Sasan. Sinbad is at the main entrance trying to join the Knights, but they're straight airing him. He ain't never had this type of experience before. Normally by now I'd expect them to get down on their knees and get straight to the slurping. Anyway, they were in an inn and they encountered the Night King's son who wants to hear stories of the outside world, which is segregated off from them. And Sinbad is back on that BS, telling the waiter who's responsible for the bar that it's okay for him to hear the stories. I'm getting sick of this phony ass ref, man. He's not doing anything. So Sinbad shares his story and gives him his book too, and this motivates Mistros to see for himself. The next day he sees his father and his little brother and shouts out how he won't tolerate being forced to be a knight, and his punk ass snitch brother just standing there after watching Mistros get bitched for disobeying. Mistros begs Sinbad to take him with him and his little brother walks in on them. Then Mistros tells him to tell his pops that he's officially leaving the Knights. Yunon spawns in and nobody's dead as just an NPC who just loads in and gives Sinbad side quests. Anyway, he informs Sinbad that there's someone else here who has captured the dungeon, that being the Night King of Sasan. Mistros is fighting for his freedom and he finally gets to face his father in a duel, in which he ends up getting dropped like a sack of shit. It's in their culture for fights to be to the death, so he's about to slime his kid, but Sinbad steps in. Sinbad asks him to run the ones and they begin their fight. They're going back and forth and I see.
How do you just kill your kid, gang? It's like, did you just waste your entire life raising the nigga, bro? Like, how do you just do that? Don't understand this shit.
Evenly matched, but unfortunately, Sinbad wasn't even really trying the whole time and begins harboring Baal's power by transforming himself into him. And yeah, this is straight steez. The Night King cannot hang with that much power. Sinbad uses the blast to move the Night King away and drops him into some nearby mountains. But the Night King still wants to fight and Sinbad says, "So you still don't get my chain is way heavier than yours? Alright, watch this." He loads up an attack and oh my goodness, this nigga just cleared out the mountain.
When I saw this shit, I was like, in this world, I don't think you guys understand. In this world, the power scale isn't this huge. Or rather, the difference between him and every other person in this world is so ginormous. No one needs this much power. Nobody. It's so stupid.
In range of one attack, he had this in the locker the whole time. What type of shit is this? He basically told him he'd wipe his country off the Atlas if he wanted to, but he only wants to set up trade with them. The King of Sasan agrees, and when they return, Sinbad tells the rest that their match was a draw on some humble shit, and the King of Sasan declares Sinbad an ally. Later, Mistros is given permission to leave by his father. He told him that he once before wanted to see the world too. Then they finally leave.
In the world of Honkai Star Rail, few names embody love and hope quite like Serene.
I am not getting YouTube Premium.
Her devotion is
I'm sorry, YouTube. Maybe I shouldn't have said that. Fuck.
Next up is the city that's known for bad bitches and straight ISOs. They arrive and see two girls flying over them on a bird. They challenge them to try and make it to the top, and they reward them by showing them around and showing them a good time. And you know, Sinbad jumps on that and tries to test the gangster, but she gets all flustered and leaves. They manage to make it to the city eventually, and all the locals tell them that they stink. And this doesn't even really have any plot relevance. I just wanted to remind you that Sinbad is still human. They talk to the queen about establishing trade, and she refuses to hear them out because they are men. And Sinbad tries his riz on the queen, but she ain't fall for it. Then they get stripped and sent down a ravine. What type of escalation is this? Anyway, they all get pushed down except for Hinahono, who fortunately or unfortunately is going to get examined by all the women. They try finding a way out,
which is really bad because this nigga has a wife that can lead all these ladies to bed, bro. So they better watch out.
Night falls and they're literally in the trenches. They are in there eating snakes. They were down there living in the valley for so long that they deadass became accustomed to it and lost the drive to even escape. But Mistros still wants to get freaky. He's got the greatest motivation a man has ever had. Find shit. He winds up finding a pile of meat that they eat. Embedded in them are beautiful gems. Later we see that the big birds the city people use are taking the meat back to the capital for its stones. The next scene is the three of them hopping out of the meat. They hid in there to get transported up, and they wind up in front of all these estrogen-filled men. The queen is in a room inspecting Sinbad's gin, and in the window is none other than Sinbad. And someone has got to tell me, who is this nigga feeling like? He got the moon as the backdrop, standing in the light, and check how he pulls up on her spitting game immediately.
The sun kiss technique, but with the moon? My guy, who are you?
Write that down. All of it. Write that down. She uses her own djinn and she actually knows how to manifest it, unlike the Night King. And she's able to cancel out Sinbad's lightning due to her own abilities. Now, this would be an issue if it wasn't Sinbad who just swaps his other djinn. Sinbad attacks, but the queen's djinn controls 3 elements: fire, ice, and lightning, so she just manages to cancel this attack again. He manages to block her attack, and then she fires again and does the usual you were just like the rest, you know, bad guy gimmick. And if you know anime, you know what happens next. Yep, he spawns behind her, arms crossed, all smug and shit. She starts loading up another attack, and he just teleports behind her again and again. He's straight frying her. His true ability of the djinn is stagnating the state of
Which djinn is this one, bro? This shit looks overpowered.
anything it targets. Anyway, he freezes her shit over and she loses. The next day, she agrees to Sinbad's trade deal. Then she explains what the Magi are, who are, you know, basically people chosen by the world and are loved by the magic system of the world. They leave and see Hina Hono, and Sinbad reminds him that he does in fact have a wife, so he better not have got up to anything too crazy. The diplomat of the queen joins Sinbad's crew, and the queen wishes them farewell. And that just about wraps up the early career of who we call first class singularity, Sinbad. And shit, maybe I'll cover his parent show in the future, but for now, it's been narratives. Like and
Type shit. Alright, nice video. Thank you, narratives. That was a good video. And thank you all for watching. Peace. I love you guys.